If you're trying to transfer from Photoshop to Krita, there are certain things you need to be able to do in both programs. The lack of one can really stop you from making that transition. So one thing that I really need to be able to do is to use masks, layer masks and clipping masks, and see what they look like if I bring them into Krita from Photoshop. Will they break? Can I repeat them? That could be bad. So let's take a look at the kind of thing I'm talking about. So I'll just empty out all the layers. So we have a line. This is a very common way of doing an animated character. If you're a cartoon character, you do the line on one layer, you do the white silhouette on a separate layer, and then you have a layer mask. So let me unclip that or unselect that. So basically what you do is you have a layer. I'm going to just do another layer on top of this, and we can draw like that, and then Alt or Option and hold it down. Then that masks out anything outside that white area. And there is another kind of mask that really comes into play if you want to register this object to a background. Let's say it's moving behind like a microphone or an object in the scene. Then what do you do? So you want to be able to register out that. So how I do it, and I think a lot of people do it, you make a clipping mask. So we select the white layer and we push this little clipping mask button here. And now anything that I draw here in black, let me just click a black brush, make it hard. So if I draw here, anything there is being masked out. It's still there. If I hold down Shift, it's still there. Now I can hold on Alt or Option and drag, and that is now copied over to the line layer. So everything is still intact. This is non-destructive. So if a change is made to the scene, you can still come along and not have to redo anything. So if I select these layers, then we can move around the masked area. And if I hold down the Alt or Option key and click on that, that's the mask layer. So I can continue to change the mask layer. If needs require me to make it bigger, we can do that. So that essentially is a really crucial component of creating complex characters in scenes that are interacting with the environment. Comic book frames, foreground elements, they're moving behind a chair. You don't want to be erasing out the character. You need masks. So let's save this, and I'm going to bring this same image into Krita and see how Krita wrecks it, because it doesn't understand a lot of the Photoshop elements, but it does a pretty good job, and let's see how we can fix it. So when I said it wrecks it, it kind of does, and at this point I sort of panicked. I'm like, oh hell, here we go. So but it's not as bad as it looks. So let's go into the scene, and let me make this smaller so we can see all of our layers. So it might help if we switch off some stuff here and just go through it bit by bit. So we have our white layer, and I think, oh yeah, the ball folder has to be on. So that's the white layer. There's our line layer, and I hate all these little previews that pop on. There's our texture layer. So to make the texture layer mask to the white layer beneath it, we simply click on this alpha. This little is the Greek alpha letter, and now it's masked. Fantastic. That was it. That's all we had to do. And then we have our transparency masks, and this should be looking pretty familiar by now. And now we still have this problem here, and I think it's because this folder here has this little arrow on it. We click on that, and we have basically restored the entire thing. So we can move it around. We can do a lot of the same stuff that we were doing and before. Let me see if I can move it without breaking the see. Oh yeah, I need to select the right icon here. So we have these different move icons here, and this one is moving the entirety. Okay, so the process for basically tying down the mask is to padlock the transparency mask layers. If I want to move the entire thing, as a group, I just unpadlock them, and that's basically it. So this is one of the things that I was really worried about when I was looking at moving to Krita from Photoshop. How difficult is it going to be to get my layer masks and my clipping masks? It's not ideal. It would be better if it came in automatically. It doesn't, but it's a small enough operation to get the whole thing to work again. So if you like making complex layered scenes, not a problem. That's about it for this movie. Just enough to put minds at ease about reconstructing scenes and being able to register a character to a background without the whole thing crapping out. That's pretty much it for this one. Okay, so see you then. Bye.